Welcome to the tutorial on SSL protocols. So in the last class we discussed regarding the SSL architecture. So under SSL architecture we looked into the various stacks, the protocol stacks that are there, but we didn't focus more on each of those protocols. Now before I continue, I just want to reiterate that SSL architecture can also be sometimes called as TLS architecture, that is the transport layer security architecture. SSL basically had subsequently become internet standard known as TLS, that is transport layer security. So these two words, that is SSL and TLS, that can be used interchangeably. Okay, so remember, sometimes in the question they might ask you TLS architecture or sometimes SSL architecture. So you have to be very careful, it's one and the same. Now in today's session we'll be focusing on the SSL protocols. Okay, now if you look at the SSL architecture, this is implemented using various protocols, and we have the IP, TCP, SSL record protocol, the SSL change cipher spec protocol, then we have SSL alert protocol, and we have the handshake protocol. So all these four, that is the handshake protocol, change cipher spec protocol, alert protocol, are implemented at the higher level. Also you have the SSL record protocol, which is implemented just above the TCP IP but below the HTTP. So you can see here SSL record protocol is here, whereas HTTP is here. So SSL record protocol is implemented above TCP IP but below the HTTP. So now let us look into each of these protocols, these four protocols, in much detail. So to begin with, we start with the SSL record protocol. The SSL record protocol provides mainly two services for the SSL connections. First one is confidentiality. So here the handshake protocol that we have defines a shared secret key that is used for conventional encryption of SSL payloads. So here you can see, when we make use of SSL record protocol, we also make use of the handshake protocol, which will define as the shared secret key for encryption purpose. When I refer to SSL payload, it means payload basically is a part of the transmitted data that is actual intended message. The second main service provided by the SSL record protocol is message integrity. So here also, along with this particular protocol, we make use of the handshake protocol, which will define as a shared secret key that is used to form a message authentication code, in short referred to as the MAC. So here we have the SSL record protocol operation. So as you can see from the diagram, what we do here is that the SSL record protocol will take the application message, that is, this is your application message, this entire thing, to be transmitted, and it will fragment this particular message into small blocks. So you can see this huge message has been fragmented in different blocks. Once it fragments, each of this block will be compressed. Okay, so you can see the difference. Each fragment has been compressed, and this has been shown by a slant line. And once this data or the message is compressed, we are going to add a MAC. MAC is nothing but message authentication code. So once the data is compressed, we will be adding the MAC to the compressed data, and then we perform encryption for this entire compressed code plus the MAC. After encryption, we are going to add the header. So this part is the header, and this will be transmitted to the TCP segment. If you can recall the architecture, from this protocol, whatever output you get, that will be sent to the TCP segment. Now let us look into each of this in much detail. So first, the application data is taken, then it has been fragmented, then each upper layer message, this upper layer message will be fragmented in 2 to the power 14 bytes. Okay, so each fragment is of 2 to the power 14 bytes, or it can be even lesser. Next, what we do is we are performing compression, and this compression is usually optional. If you want, you can compress, otherwise not required. And the compression can be the lossless compression, and this usually will not increase the content length by more than 1024 bytes. So usually when we refer to the SSL version 3, they do not specify the type of the compression. So we consider the compression algorithm to be the null. Once the compression is complete, whether it is compressed or not compressed, what we do is we are going to then add the MAC, that is the message authentication code, over to the compressed data. If not directly, if we are not compressing, we are directly going to consider as a fragment. Now for this purpose, you need to know how we should be computing this particular MAC, that is the message authentication code. So here you can see we have the code for computing the MAC. Okay, so you have here various parameters. Basically this is algorithm or the code that has been written in hash. Okay, I did mention you regarding hash algorithm in the previous class. So if you can recall, hash algorithm is the one which is used to map the data of any size to a particular length or a fixed length. So generally this will generate a hash code. So this is basically a hash code that has been written. So this will give us the MAC, and here we have various parameters, and here MAC write secret pad 2 hash, MAC write secret pad 1 sequence number, SSL compress type, SSL compress length, SSL compress fragment. So for each of the data that is being taken, for each we are going to perform compression. We need to specify how much is the compressed length, we need to specify the compressed fragment. Other than that, we also have other parameters in this particular code. Here you can see this double line. So this is called as concatenation. MAC write secret basically stands for the shared secret key, Hash is nothing but your cryptographic hash algorithm, and this hash algorithm can either be MD5 or SHA-1. Pad 1 is the byte that is corresponding to 0x36. In binary, when you represent, it is represented in this form, which will be repeated 48 times for MD5 and 40 times for SHA-1, depending on the type of the algorithm you are using. Pad 2, this is a byte 0x5c corresponding to this binary number, which will be repeated 48 times for MD5 and 40 times for SHA-1. So basically this pad 1 and pad 2 are nothing but the padding bits that you are going to be adding to the code. Seq num basically stands for the sequence num for the message. SSL compress.type is the higher level protocol which is used to process the fragment. SSL compressed dot length stands for the length of the compressed fragment, and SSL compressed fragment stands for the compressed fragment. If compression is not used, then this will be the plain text fragment. Okay, so here it will be plain text fragment if compression is not used. Now finally, once we generate the MAC, that is the message authentication code, what we are going to do is we are going to add the compressed message plus the MAC. If you can recall from the diagram, what we did here is that the compressed data or the message was added with the MAC. So we are going to do that, and then we are going to perform encryption. Now here encryption is done using symmetric encryption, and it may not increase the content length by more than 10 to the power 24 bytes. So the total length of this particular message should not exceed 2 to the power 14 plus 2048. Now we can basically use different algorithms, and mainly we focus on two algorithms. That is, we can perform the encryption using string encryption, or we can perform encryption using block encryption. So you can see the various block encryption methods and stream cipher methods are being specified here. So for stream encryption, the compressed message plus the MAC are encrypted. That is, both of the compressed message and the MAC are encrypted, and the MAC is computed before the encryption takes place, and the MAC will be encrypted along with the plain text or with the compressed plain text. So if you are not performing the compression, then it will be encrypted along with the plain text. If you are performing compression, it will be encrypted on the compressed plain text. Next is the block encryption. In the block encryption, you can see the various algorithms that are being specified. You have AES, IDEA, DES 40, DES 3 DES, and Fortezza. So in this case, that is in the block encryption, we are performing padding, or we are going to add the padding after the MAC prior to the encryption. So if you could see here in the diagram, here regarding the padding we have not specified anything. Okay, so when we go for block encryption, we are performing padding which will be added after the MAC but before the encryption takes place, and the padding in this case is in the form of a number of padding bytes, which will be followed by 1 byte indication of the length of the padding. So let me just give you an example as to how we are going to perform the padding. Usually the total amount of padding will be very small, okay, and the total size of the data to be encrypted will be equal to the plain text plus the MAC plus the padding. Now this is usually this data size, or this total size of the data will be a multiple of the cipher's block length, okay. So when you are going to perform block encryption, you should ensure that you have the total size to be equal to plain text plus MAC plus the padding. So let me give you an example. Here I have considered a plain text of 58 bytes and a MAC of 20 bytes and a padding of just 1 byte, okay. So you can see 58 plus 20 plus 1 is equal to 79 bytes. Now we need to have integer multiples of 8. So for that purpose I have just added 1 extra byte of padding to make it an integer multiple of 8. So now the total will become 79 plus 1, which is equal to 80. So this is one example as to how we are going to compute the total size of the data to be encrypted in the case of the block encryption. Now once we have performed compression and we have performed adding of the MAC, once it has been calculated, and perform encryption, the next step would be to compute the header. We need to compute the SSL record header, which will be appended to the encrypted data. So that is the final step. So here this header mainly will have 4 fields. That is, you have a content type which is of 8 bits, and this particular content type is a higher layer protocol which is used to process the enclosed segment or the enclosed fragment. Next is the measure version. Now this is also of 8 bits, and it will indicate the measure version of SSL in use. So if it is SSL version 3, the value of this particular measure version will be equal to 3. So let me repeat once more. Measure version will indicate the SSL version in use. So example, if I have to give you, if it is SSL version 3, then the value of this measure version will be equal to 3. Then you have the minor version. Again, this is of 8 bits. This will indicate the minor version in use. Now if I am going to use the SSL version 3, the minor version will be of value 0. Finally, we have the compressed length, which is of 16 bits. So here the maximum value, okay, or the length maximum value will be equal to 2 to the power 14 plus 2048. This compressed length basically indicates the length in bytes of the plain text fragment, or the compressed fragment if compression is being used. So the compressed length, if you can remember, what we had here was we had the fragment, correct? Then from the fragment we had performed compression. Then we had the MAC. So compressed length will be 16 bits, but this will indicate length in bytes of the plain text fragment if we are not performing compression. If we are performing compression, it will correspond to the length of this compressed fragment. Okay, so next we have the content types. We just mentioned regarding the content types, right, which is one of the headers. This content type basically is a higher layer protocol which is used to process the enclosed fragment. So this content type is defined as follows. It can be change cipher spec, alert, handshake, or application data. Now let us look into the entire SSL record format. If you can remember the final setup that we had, that was in terms of appending, we had the header which will be appended, plus we had the encrypted data. Now this encrypted data was basically the sum of compressed, or if it was not compressed, it was plain text or direct fragment plus the MAC. So here this SSL record protocol is having the header which consists of the content type. Okay, you have the content type, you have the major version, minor version, compressed length, and then you have the encrypted data and the MAC. So basically this is a tilted version. If I have to explain you this part, this entire part is the compressed, or this compressed length, minor version, major version, and content type corresponds to the header. This is the encrypted data, this is the MAC, which will together will give you the SSL record format. Now once we have completed with the SSL record protocol, the next one is the SSL change cipher spec protocol. So if you look at the change cipher spec protocol, basically this is one of the three SSL specific protocols which uses the SSL record protocol, and this consists of a single message which consists of a single byte with the value 1, which is shown here. So this is a single message which consists of a single byte with the value 1. And the sole purpose of this message is to cause the pending state to be copied into the current state. So if there's any pending state, it will be copied into the current state, which will update the cipher suite to be used on this connection. When I say cipher suite, it basically means that it is a set of algorithms that will help secure a network connection. So mainly, if there is any updation that is required, it will be done by the change cipher spec protocol. That is, it will cause the pending state to be copied to the current state. The next one is the SSL alert protocol. In the SSL alert protocol, this is being mainly used to convey SSL related alerts. The name only, it is very much evident. It is used to convey SSL related alerts to the peer entity. To the peer entity means it could be either the server or the client. Okay. As with the other applications that use SSL, alert messages usually will be compressed and encrypted as specified by the current state. So let us look into the SSL alert protocol So here you can see this consists of 2 bytes. From the diagram it is very much evident. It consists of 2 bytes. The first byte is the level, the second byte is the alert. So this first byte will take the value either as warning or as fatal in order to convey the severity of the message. Okay. If the level is fatal, then what SSL will do is it will immediately terminate the connection. Connection basically means it is a transport that occurs between the client and the server. So if the level is fatal, then immediately it will terminate the connection, and other connections on the same session will continue, but no new connection on this session will be established. Whereas this particular second byte contains a code that will indicate a specific alert. So now let us look into the specific alerts. So we have the list of specific alerts which can be classified either as fatal or which can be classified as a warning. Now the first one is the unexpected message. Unexpected message means it's an inappropriate message that was being received. If you look at the names of these messages, the various messages that are provided for fatal or warning, just by reading the names of the messages, you can identify what could be the issue. So here also unexpected message meaning an inappropriate message was received. The second message is bad record MAC. Bad record MAC means an incorrect MAC was received. Decompression failure. So decompression failure corresponds to the decompression function which was received improper input, that is it was unable to decompress, or decompression was greater than the maximum allowable length. Fourth one is handshake failure. Here the sender was unable to negotiate an acceptable set of security parameters given the options available. So he was unable to set up a link between the client and the server. So this is going to give you an handshake failure message. The last one under the fatal alerts, you have illegal parameter, which corresponds to a field in a handshake message, meaning this handshake message was out of range or inconsistent with other fields. So this is one of the illegal parameters. Now let us look into the warning messages. So first one, you have close notify. So this will notify the recipient that the sender will not send any more messages on this connection. So each party is required to send a close notify alert before closing the right side of the connection. Okay, so before closing the connection he is supposed to notify. So this is just a close notify message, so that the sender so that we notify the recipient that the sender will not send any more messages. Next one is no certificate. So this might be in response to a certificate request which was not appropriate. Certificates basically means here the credentials that will verify the identities between the users in a transaction. So no certificate means we have not properly received the credentials, so no appropriate certificate is available. Bad certificate, that is the next warning that we have. So this message is a received bad certificate which corresponds to the corrupt, meaning the received certificate was corrupt. That is, example, say it contained a signature that the receiver could not verify. Okay. Next one is unsupported certificate. So this corresponds to the type of the received certificate which is not supported, so that is why we said unsupported certificate. Next we have certificate revoked. So this corresponds to a certificate that was cancelled by the signer. Okay, so we send a certificate revoked message when it was cancelled. Then next we have the certificate expired. So here a certificate, if it is expired, we send a certificate expired warning. And finally certificate unknown. So here when some other unspecified issues arise in the processing the certificates, it will be rendered as unacceptable. So that is why this is considered or given a warning saying that certificate is unknown. So these are the various messages which come under the alert protocol.